Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Banderas. And just another quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of the podcast. And also don't forget to follow us on Facebook so you don't miss any of the posts. And also thank you for all the emails and all the support that I've been receiving. I like it. But let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is going to be a good one. Now, I was talking to somebody who's also a Spoonie, a friend that I know. I actually work with this person. And she's a Spoonie. They don't know what's going on with her. She has a bunch of health issues. And she was telling me like, oh, nobody will ever love me because of my condition. So I don't know how to even find love. And here's the thing though. This is through my experience. So I'm just talking about my experience. You cannot be loved if you don't love yourself first. Like how are we supposed to receive love when we don't even know how to give love to ourselves? If you don't love yourself, how can somebody else love you or give you love or even help you? That's one of the things that I was able to understand dealing through my own stuff, because I never loved myself. I was never taught to love myself. That's one of the things that I think as a society we're not doing correctly, because I see it all the time on Facebook or online social media, how Spoonies and people in general are like, oh, nobody will love me and all of this. But then the person itself, the person that is complaining, saying that nobody will love them, they're doing all of these things to themselves. Like they're not taking care of themselves. They're obviously not. Besides not taking care of themselves, they're not paying attention to their body or to their needs. So they don't take care of themselves. So that's not loving yourself. If you love yourself, you're going to love yourself just the way you are. That's one of the most important things that I learned. Like, when you love yourself just the way that you are, whoever is going to love you, whoever is going to be your partner, they will see that and they will be like, this person actually loves herself. Even though he or she might have challenges, that person still loves themselves. So that is actually a turn on for a lot of people. But if you're not loving yourself, if you're all like, nobody will ever love me, like I'm alone, then you're already projecting that. And even if you get in a relationship, you're already saying like, nobody's gonna love me. So you might not see that person is loving you. That actually happened to me. And I'm talking this from my experience. Like, it happened between me and my wife. Like, the way that I was raised, there was no love. My mom never showed love or anything like that. She wasn't like, oh, I love you or anything like that. She wasn't lovey or anything like that. My wife's, my wife is very lovey. I'm the complete opposite, or I was, because I'm changing now. I was the complete opposite. I was like, oh yeah, I love you, bye. Like, I'll give you a hug and that's it. Like, I was very cold, because my whole life, people that are supposed to teach me love, they were very cold with me. My mom, my uncle, my brother, like all the people that were supposed to teach me how to love myself, they didn't. So I didn't know how to love myself. And the same thing could have happened to you, but you just don't realize it. And that's one of the things that we have to realize, that we don't know how to love each other or how to love ourselves, because probably that wasn't taught to us. So if we don't see it, we cannot imitate it. Like in my case, my mom wasn't lovey. My mom wasn't like a loving person. Like, she would leave me alone from 5 years old. At 5 years old, she would leave me alone just so she could go out. Like, that's not love. Literally, like, that's not love. So I never loved myself, and I couldn't. And if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to see the love that somebody else could give you or is giving you. And also, you're not going to be able to give and receive love. I'm only saying this because of my own experience. Like, this is exactly what happened between me and my wife. I realized this the other day, that I don't know how to love because I don't know how to love myself. So if I don't know how to love myself, how am I supposed to project love? How am I supposed to be able to receive love if I don't even know what it is because I never saw it growing up? So what I had to do, I had to change. I had to realize, like, oh crap, I don't know how to love. I don't know how to love myself. So I started loving on myself. I started taking care of myself more. I'm not eating as much candy as I have mentioned before. Like, and that is true. You can ask my wife. I'm not eating as much candy. I'm trying to eat healthier. Why? Because I love myself now. I'm starting to love myself now. And in order for you to love yourself, you have to start taking care of yourself too. Like, if you're like, let me put it to you this way. If you have a condition that gets aggravated because you do something, like, for example, you eat a certain kind of food, like like in my case, I can't eat milk anymore, or I can't drink milk anymore. I grew up on milk. I don't know why. I can't drink it anymore. Milk is bad for you. I learned that. So I don't drink any milk anymore. I love milk. I grew up on milk. I loved it. Now I had to stop doing it because if I drink it, then I feel sick. And I'm like, yeah, I like it with chocolate, but at the same time, it's like, I love myself enough that I want to put myself through that. That's one of the things that I had to realize. Like, I don't want to put myself through that. And when you love yourself, you're gonna realize that if you're in the wrong relationship, if you're with somebody that's not treating you the way that you should be treated, or the way that you want to be treated, it's okay to say, like, you know what, this isn't working for me. This is not what love is for me. But you have to understand what love means to you. What exactly is the kind of love that you want. That's why there's the one book that I recommend that I'm actually going to be talking about in another episode is the 5 love languages. Like, everybody has a love language. My love language is touch and acts of service. Like, I like to do acts of service and be huggy and everything like that. My mom wasn't like that. So my love tank, let's just put it like that, my love tank was never full my whole life. Then I met my wife. She's all like huggy, lovey and everything, and I didn't know what the heck was that, because I was like, I've never been treated like that. Even in past relationships, people were like, oh, you're too much. Oh, you're too much. Well, if somebody tells you, oh, you're too much, then that person doesn't understand what love means to you, or that person doesn't know how to receive love, or probably just like me, that person doesn't love themselves, so that's why they don't even know how to receive or how to give love. And I think this is very important for Spoonies, because, for example, with my friend, she has been dating a lot of guys, but every time they break up, because she says that she doesn't tell them that she's sick, that she has an illness, because she feels like people won't date her. And I'm like, well, it's okay if they don't date you. If it's okay if they don't take you out. What matters is that you love yourself enough to be honest and to say, like, you know what? I have this condition. I have a problem. I can't go out every weekend and get drunk or anything, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. Or, for example, if you're like my wife and have like horrible pain, and you're dating somebody that likes to go out, let's say hiking, you have to let that person know, hey, listen, I love myself and I love you, but at the same time, I can't do what you do. It's like we have to come up with like a solution. Like, I want to spend time with you, but let's do it in a different way where I don't have to regret it the next day. And if you feel like you can do it, if you're like, you know what, today is the day that I can go on a little hike, or go work out, or go on a long walk with this guy or with this girl, and the next day you're in pain, you just have to understand that you did because you wanted to spend time with that person, so there's nothing wrong with that. is nothing wrong with that. You might be in pain, but if you're in pain, then you just have to, in this case, give yourself some love and take care of yourself. Rest, relax, take it easy. You don't have to be doing something after you literally had to do something for love. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys is that you have to know what kind of love language is your preferred language. Because, for example, for me and my wife, my love language is acts of service and touch, and pretty much like affirmations like, oh, I love you and you're beautiful. That's my love language. For her, is more like acts of service. So I didn't know that. So when I read the book, which she pretty much told me to read, and I didn't want to read it, and until I read it, I was like, okay, she was right. I should have read this. Like, you have to come up with a middle ground. You have to find the balance between your love language and your partner's love language. But your love language starts with you. If you don't love yourself, if you feel like you can't love yourself because of your condition, because of your body, because of whatever is going on, whatever the circumstances are right now in your life, that doesn't matter. It doesn't. You because of those circumstances, you don't have to not love yourself. Actually, because of those circumstances, you have to love yourself. One of the things that I have shared in the Facebook page, I have shared all these stories about other people that have had their own health challenges and things like that, and then they come on top. They're able to turn their lives around. And one of the things that I realized is that what helps them the most is to start loving themselves. That's why I started doing it, because, for example, with Les Brown, that's a good example. He was told that he wasn't going to be anything in life because he was educable, mentally retarded. And once he started learning and he started loving himself because he became a learner, he's like, I can learn, I love this. He became the powerful speaker that he is right now. So the same thing can be for you. If you like to draw, start small. Start drawing your stick figures. That's a form of self-love. Then you're going to practice. You're going to keep going, getting better. If somebody says like, oh, your drawing sucks, don't take offense. Just say like, okay, what can I learn from this? This person says this sucks, but I don't see it that way. So show it to somebody else. Show it to somebody that can actually give you a unbiased critique. That's the best way to put it. But it all starts with you. If you don't love yourself, who can love you? Literally. Like, ask yourself that question. If I don't love myself, who's going to be able to love me? Somebody that doesn't even love themselves. Because here's the thing is like, if you don't love yourself, you might start doing things that might hurt you. Like, for example, if you're diabetic, and I'm going to give you this example, my father-in-law, he's diabetic. His diabetes is out of control sometimes. And yet he eats a lot of candy. That's not self-love. Because literally eating candy could put you in the hospital or kill you. And yet he still does it. Why? Because I can see it. He probably doesn't love himself enough to say like, I'm not going to eat candy because I got to take care of myself. I got to be there for my family. He might not see it that way. The same thing could be happening to you. You might be doing a self-destructive, you might have a self-destructive habit, like eating something that is not good for you. For example, milk and sugar, candy and everything, because there's diabetes in my family, so I don't want to have diabetes. I want to get diabetes, so I have to do better. That's another form of self-love. Do things that you love. If you want to go out in a little walk and just smell the roses and that makes you happy, do it. If you have to do it every day, do it. If you have to just go on a drive and to the mountains or to the lake or to wherever is available that makes you happy, and just sit there and enjoy the view, and that self-love for you, then do it. If you prefer to be alone, and that's your form of self-love, like reading or things like that, you doing something like educating yourself, like taking care of yourself, pampering yourself, going to get a massage, going to get your nails done, your hair, your makeup, or whatever you do that means that you love yourself, do it. Don't stop. Just keep loving yourself, even though you're a spoonie. The same goes with a caregiver. Like, this goes both ways, or to anybody that feels like they can't love themselves. Start with something small. Start creating that love with something small. Something like, for example, learning something new, working out, taking care of yourself better. That's self-love. And once you start realizing, like, okay, I'm actually feeling better, that's gonna push you to do more. So that's what I wanted to talk about today on today's episode. I hope you guys are enjoying the episodes, and like I said on this episode, start with something small. And thank you for all the emails, all the support, all the new supporters on the Facebook page and the Instagram, TikTok, all the social media that we're doing this. And don't forget to share, like, subscribe. You can always comment. And if you want to share your story, don't forget to send it to me at caregiver and spoonie at gmail.com. And like always, take care of yourself.